Focus on me. Ooh, let's put on a sweater. Hello there, my name is Jonathan and this is Jonathan's Days and this is part 2 of episode 20. If you haven't watched part 1, you can go back and watch that to see all the whips and finished objects that I had in the last couple of weeks. And if you're not interested in whips and projects and you just want to see a heck of a lot of yarn and a loom, then you're in the right place. So let's get to it. I'm splitting this episode into little sections. So the first one will be Unravel Festival, which is all the things I got at the festival and a little bit about what I got up to at the festival. The second thing is some AIMEE purchases and the new release from AIMEE. And then the third one is some Irish yarns. And the final part is about my loom. Because I got a loom, guys. I'm a weaver now. But weave it. So let's jump into it and get through it. Let's start with Unravel. So I went to Unravel this year. It was my second time going, and this is a yarn festival here in London. It takes place in a place called, London. It takes place in a place called Farnham, at the Farnham Maltings, and this was my second time going, and I really enjoyed it. It was a really wonderful time, and I went with my friend Kieran, who used to work for Walcott Yarns, and so we went together, and we had a bunch of friends there. So Vincent and Vincent from Les Garcons was there. Carmen from A Yarn Story was there. Nouveau from Hide and Hammer was there. Anna was working with The Yarn Story. I met Johnny from Garthenor as well, like tons of people. I met a bunch of people for the first time, which is really nice. I met the lovely Anna again, Yarn Woman. I saw her, Sophie, Knit Pearl Girl. So I got to see her and have a quick squeeze and a quick chat. So it was really nice to see a bunch of people a year later who kind of become friends since then, and then also like meet a bunch of new people. But let's talk yarn. So yarn wise, there's so much. Hold on, let's get through this. Okay, so let's start. Let's do it this way. Okay, cool. So I had no intention of getting much of anything, was the plan. That is not what happened. What I am proud of is that I only got one sweaters quantity, but really it's like a slipover quantity, so it's enough for like a sleeveless vest type slipover, and that I'm pretty happy with. Otherwise it was just like I allowed myself some single skeins that like really spoke to me or sparked joy in me, or that I really admired the artistry of the maker or the dyer, and some other bits. So we'll run through. The first two I bought were from Bona Yarns, and that is made by Dan, and I know Dan because the previous year I did an evening Zoom event, kind of online event for Unravel, where I interviewed some yarn dyers, and Dan was one of them from Bona Yarns. And I love his yarns. I love his colors are like no one else's. They're so bright. His names are hilarious and brilliant, and he has a real, I don't know, it's like saturation is like pumped up to 100, and it's wonderful. So there was two skeins that spoke to me, so they just had to come home with me. There was just no other option. The first one was because I literally, it spoke to me. I went to it, I picked it up, I looked at it, I was like, this is beautiful. It was the last one, I thought. I put it down, and as soon as I turned back, someone else had picked it up and bought it. So I was like, I missed it. You missed it. And I guess that's a lesson for yarn festivals. But when I went back later in the day, it was back again. And this is this game. Let's do this. So this is the colorway Brazilian Jewel, and these are both I got two skeins, and both are superwash merino, fingering weight, and it's just incredible. Absolutely love it. It just had to come home with me. I have no idea what I would use it for. Thinking maybe socks, like what's the Curio socks, the Andrew Mara ones that use Spincycle. I think this could be quite cool with another color. But who knows. And then the second one I got is called To Turn the Stone. and it's a bit more earthy. It's like a different kind of earthy tone for him. Yeah, and I just loved it as well. Ooh, even when I moved the, it's beautiful. These, like, this is something in the conversation that we had last year with the dyers, was almost like the art of it, the creativity of dyeing yarns, and these kinds of colorways and these kinds of skeins to me show like the artistry and talent of dyers, and I really, really love that. And I think as people who love yarn and love color and creativity, it's okay to just want something because it's beautiful and it inspires you and it sparks joy in you. So that's kind of how I felt about these. I definitely want to use them, because even now looking at them, I just think they're so beautiful. Or even I'm probably going to use them for inspiration to put colors together myself. You know what I mean? So I love these from Dan. Absolutely beautiful. So just single skein of each of those. The next I got was from the Wool Kitchen. So I met the dyer behind the Wool Kitchen as well. And the Wool Kitchen, I think they're London, I'm pretty sure they're London based. And I followed them for a while, and they specialize in these kind of zip yarns where it's like one section of the skein is like a completely different color to the rest of the skein. And then I always thought it was like a nice idea, but I never really, like, I liked how it looked in the skein, but I never really thought about how it would look knit up or if it would work well. And then in the booth they had one of the people working there was wearing something that was knit up in one of these yarns, and I really liked how like the stockinette fabric looked in it. So I purchased one of these yarns, and the reason I bought this one as well was because apparently they're not making this colorway anymore. It might come in a different form, but here it is. And this is Neo Camo J1. It's 75 BFL, 25 nylon, sock yarn. And my plan, so basically when it knits up, it's going to be like basically all of this, but just with a little pop of neon kind of flecked through it. It's really quite cool. So my plan and intention with this, I got 2 skeins, so my plan and intention with this is to just do like a simple cowl, like a tube, and do a really, really simple cowl, and yeah, in like a stockinette cowl, so it's just like a simple cowl with a bit of pop, bit of fun. But that really spoke to me, so I really, really liked that. And obviously I like the fact that like, oh, they're not doing it anymore. It's like, okay, limited edition, or, you know, the last of. You got me. So that was the Wool Kitchen. Then what's next? Next was Garthenor. So Garthenor are like a sponsor of the event, I believe, or one of the sponsors. And so I popped in there, and the only thing I got was some Peatland. And this is the color Berwyn, and I got 2 skeins. And so the reason I got this is because I'm actually wearing a pair right now of socks. I love socks in this yarn. It's like quite rustic, but I feel like it's perfect for me for socks because I've got pretty sweaty feet, and the yarn really holds up really, really well. I've got maybe three pairs of socks in Peatland, and they all have held up amazingly over the last like nearly 2 years. Lots of wear, and I love it. So I just got 2 skeins of this to make some socks. And actually I was looking through my stash, and last year I think I got 2 skeins of Peatland as well to make socks, which I haven't made, so we need to get back on the socks. But yeah, I love Garthenor. I haven't knit with it for quite a while, but I am a big fan, and I definitely recommend their yarns. Then next up is a company I knew. So this was the one company I knew I wanted to buy from, and the company is called the Raw Wool Company. And so we met one of the owners, Anton, who's lovely, and we've been messaging on Instagram a little bit before, so it wasn't completely like cold introduction, but it was super nice to meet him. And by the time, we went on this Saturday, and like he was doing super well, almost selling out. And so the Raw Wool Company, it's kind of, what's the tagline? Where is it? Yarn in the color sheep intended. So the color of the yarn is will be natural, the natural color. So this is what I knew going in. I wanted the slipover quantity, and that's this one. And so I got 3 skeins of this to make a slipover. And so it's DK. It's 100% British Wensleydale Longwool. Rare breed Wensleydale sheep from Julie and Anton's farm are celebrated for their soft luster longwool and naturally rustic colours. Single origin raw wool from Cornwall, and yeah, and this colorway is called On a Dark and Stormy Night, undyed British Wensleydale longwool. And so if I take it out, if you can see, like it almost sparkles, and it's super soft for what is like a raw rustic wool, and it's got like a really nice halo. Like this yarn like really excites me. Like it really excites me. And the company is doing like amazing things. They have a whole collection of patterns coming out later this year, and Anton is just lovely person. So highly recommend checking them out if you haven't heard of them, and if you do, I mean, if you like rustic wools, 100% check them out. And if you are wanting to try and dip your toe in, you can't go wrong with this, and it's so soft. And I'm very excited. So I got 3 skeins of this one, and then I got 1 skein of this one, which is 100% British Dorset. In fields overlooking the sea in West Cornwall, Steve, aka the Salty Shepherd, keeps his flock of Dorset, whose wool boasts a soft and voluminous character, making it sought after yarn from the UK. So this is DK as well. This is a bit of a chunkier. Are they chunkier skein? No, they're the same size. 220 mm. Cool. So this one is called Soft as Sea Mist, 100% undyed British Dorset. So this one is white, creamy white and beautiful, and I thought maybe another Oslo hat for this. If you watched the previous episode, I've just finished my first Oslo hat, and in that episode I said I don't really intend on making another one, but I guess I am. I bought this game for it. But yeah, this is super nice as well, like really squishy. The squish factor, guys, with the, is so nice, and it's so interesting to like feel the difference between Wensleydale and Dorset. It's fascinating. I love learning more about it. There's just a depth of color and beauty in these that like you don't get in a lot of yarns, or that because they're natural. Anyway, can you tell I'm in love with them when I'm just like staring at them? So yeah, so that was the Raw Wool Company. Definitely check them out. You gotta check them out. And then finally from Unravel, the yarns at the I Yarn Story booth. I spent a lot of time there, hanging out with Vincent and Carmen and the gang. And New from Hide and Hammer was also, they were sharing a booth all together, so it was a super fun time. And so I didn't actually get any Walcott yarns, which is strange, but I do have plans to get some. But they brought Spincycle, and they had Le Garcon hand-dyed skeins with them there as well. So I hunted out, I want to make I can't think of the name of it, Andrew Mowry cowl pattern, which is like velvet something. I want to say Velvet Underground, but it's not Velvet Underground. Velvet Mirror? No, I don't know. Anyway, it's a like colorwork, floofy Suri Spincycle cowl. And so I was hunting for a while, and these were the 2 colors that I put together. So the Spincycle dyed in the wool is called Summer Love. And then the Le Garcon hand dyed is Suri in Vincent's Highland Coup. That's this color. So good. And so then the match. So you know me, I love a cowl, and I have my Snowfield cowl by Max, which uses Suri and another yarn colorwork cowl, and I wear that all the time and I love it. So I wanted kind of like another one along that vein. And so I went with these. So I've got 2 skeins of each, so also I have 2 more of each to make that. And so yeah, super excited about that. And that was it. That was it from Unravel. After the actual festival, I went for dinner with that whole crew. So, well, we went for a drink with Anton, we went for dinner with Vincent, Nouveau, Carmen, all those. So it was a really, really nice time to like sit down and like chat to these like A, wonderful people, and B, people who are like inspirations to me, like within the like fiber knitting yarn industry. And just to have a laugh with them was like a real treat, and I'm very, very thankful that I was invited for that, and got to like meet new people, and most importantly, lots of people said hello to me at the festival. So to those of you who did stop and say hello, thank you so much. It was lovely to meet you. It's always a strange kind of feeling having someone recognize you like that, but to those that did say hello, thank you so much for saying hello. It like made my day, and it's so nice to chat. I mean, most people we were like passing, so didn't get a chance to like really, really stop and chat, but it was lovely to meet all of you who did stop and say hello, and thank you for watching. I really, really appreciate it. It's you know, I'm just speaking into a camera, but then when you actually meet people in person who do watch, it's like, it's really, really nice. So it you know, it's nice to make that connection. So thank you to those of you who stopped and said hi. I'm so glad you watched, and I hope you had a great time at the festival. Some of you showed me some of your purchases, so I know some of you got yarn, but I hope everyone got yarn and had a great time at the festival. So yes, thank you to those of you who said hello. Yes, that was Unravel. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to next year already. It's I highly recommend it. It's a great festival, like full of stuff. It was super busy, but like not like uncomfortably packed or anything. And Farnham, the Maltings where it's hosted, is like really, really nice space. So I highly recommend it. It was their 15th anniversary this year. So if you do get around to going to the festival, I highly recommend. So yeah, so that was Unravel. I think I like did okay. It's a respectable amount of yarn without going too wild. The fact that I stayed away from sweater quantities, I think, is the thing that I'm kind of proud of, doing that. So yes, so that's Unravel. Next thing I wanted to talk about super quickly is a new book release. If you know me, you know I love AIMEE. I've knit with tons of their yarn and love their books and things. So of course I did pick up the new book from Lina Publishing and AIMEE, which is called Neons and Neutrals. It is the follow-up to Worsted, which I already have. And don't they look great together? So yes, so I picked up the new book. I'm sure if you follow them, you've been kind of hearing about this, seeing it on your timelines or however. And so I picked up the book. I have chosen something. The one thing I'm definitely going to knit is going to be this, which is a slipover called You. I hope that's how it's pronounced. The other thing, there's some really nice shawl patterns in here. The one that's so cool is this one, Xiao Mai, which I believe it's Leila Yang, who I believe is from Qing Fiber. I believe. But yeah, there's some amazing patterns in here. Those two really stand out to me. There was another one. There's another one I really liked. It's like the jacket, and you can have loads of options. This one. The Vidira? How do you pronounce it? Vidira. By Mesa Tomikawa. It's beautiful. It's like a jacket, but there's like different options. Like you can do it with a hood, with pockets, long, short. It's really, really cool, and I quite liked how it's all garter stitch. So it's really more of like a jacket than a sweater, and I quite liked that. So they're the ones that really spoke to me, either because I want to make them or because I just find them to be beautiful and amazing garments. But either way, it is a beautiful book, beautiful collection of patterns. Worsted, the first book, is brilliant if you haven't already got it, and Nylons and Neutrals is an amazing follow-up. So I highly recommend both. I'm excited to knit from this one. I'm going to be making that fairly soon, especially because I already got some of the yarn for it. So along with the book, I got this yarn, which is Kumo, and this is in the color Sophie. So it's this is another Suri yarn, so it's 74% Suri, 26% mulberry silk, and because it's neons and neutrals, I went for like a neon blue. So I actually got 3 skeins of this, but I think I only need 2 for the size that I want to make. And then the other yarn is Durerum Natura Cyrano, I believe is the yarn. So yeah, there is a yarn that goes with it. I'm probably going to do a grey with it. I haven't nailed down exactly what color. I might do more of a beige. After all, it is neons and neutrals, so I'm trying to figure out what neutral color I want to pair with this neon. And it's knit on 12mm needles, which is wild. And I have a pair because I got some to make a blanket. So I'm glad I already have those needles. But I'm very, very excited for this. I'm excited to swatch for it. And this is like so soft and so neon. It's wild. Look how bright it is. Crazy. Crazy. Floofy neon cloud. So I'm really excited about that. And AIMEE's coming to London end of April, so that's my plan, is to try and get it finished for them so I can wear it. Would be great. So yes, picked those up recently, but while I was there, unfortunately, because of Brexit in the UK, you have to hit a certain like amount of money before they can ship to you. Don't ask if you're not. It's so annoying. Anyway, we won't go into that. So in order to make up the cost, I picked up 2 skeins of Twist Nouveau, which is their non-superwash merino, and I AIMEE do Ghibli colors based on Studio Ghibli movies, films, and I've always loved these 2 colorways, so I wanted to pick them up. And so these 2 colors, these are based off of Princess Mononoke. So this is the color Mononoke, which is, yeah, there's not much there. Yeah, it's like peach, reds, greens. It's beautiful. This really reminds me of like when she has the blood on her, when she spits the blood. So cool. And then this is Evergreen Forest, which is just beautiful. Almost tonal green, and I'd love to put them together in something, so I'm not too sure what I would do with them, but I just think they're beautiful. Again, you know, similar to the skeins from Unravel, it's like that artistry that I've really like, you know, when you fall in love with it, you have to have it, unfortunately. Fortunately. Cool. So then the last little bit of yarn acquisitions I picked up. So this is the Irish section, as I would call it. So the first skein is probably the biggest skein I've ever gotten in my life. This is a yarn, I got this from Life in the Long Grass. If you don't know, they're a hand-dyed yarn studio based in Cork, where I'm from in Ireland. And I've been meaning to try their yarns for a while, and I hopefully will get to try some of their actual hand-dyed yarn soon. But what I did pick up for them is a very special yarn that I've been trying to get my hands on for quite some time. And so I finally got around to it, and so this is it. Look how big this skein is. It's huge. Does it have a weight here? It does, 250 grams, 500 meters. So this is Heritage Yarn Galway. So this yarn is made of Galway wool. So this is from a breed of sheep in Ireland called like Galway sheep. So it's one of the few, if only possibly, native Irish sheep currently like still alive and kicking. And so there's like a small handful of flocks in Ireland, and so they've been turning their fleeces into yarn, and it's really, really exciting because, you know, I'm from Ireland, and Ireland has a big agricultural and, you know, industry, and it's, you know, a beautiful green natural place, so you would think that there would be lots of sheep and lots of native sheep breeds, and that the fiber industry in Ireland would be like very teeming with life and very popular. But you know, there are lots of wonderful Irish fiber yarn creators and makers and all of that, but not as much as I would expect, or as I would think as an Irish person, you know, growing up there and living there and from there. So when something like this arrives, I want to support it, and I want to get it, and I want to try and use it, and that's my intention. And so I bought this from Life in the Long Grass, and then I looked up another Irish maker. So this is a skein. I've got 3 skeins of this. This is from Sionnach Yarns, naturally hand dyed in the Burn in Ireland. The Burn is a beautiful region of Ireland with amazing like natural landscapes. Look it up, it's beautiful, it's amazing. Anyway, so this is their Moher base, which is funny because like Moher, like the cliffs of Moher. I don't know if that's intentional, but it's mohair and silk. And this is the color Heavy Sky. So I have had a design idea that I would like to make with these yarns, because the Galway yarn is it's described as not being next to skin soft. I can handle really rough yarns, but I thought that I would pair them together and make something. And so I have a fun idea which I've been like thinking about a lot, and I would love to cast on. So I'm going to try and create something using the Galway yarn, because I feel like it's really special and needs to be supported and should thrive. And so I've got 2 head size skeins of this, and I have 3 skeins of this, and I'm going to put them together. And so my fingers are itching to swatch. My fingers right now are itching to swatch this from La AIMEE and this. So it's tough to like pace myself and be like, no, hold on, take your time. No rush for these things, but I think these will be beautiful together. And this will hopefully soften it up a bit, and then might create a fun Marley effect. I don't know, I can't wait to swatch and see. So I've got a couple needle sizes I want to try, and a construction that's kind of floating around in my head. There's a little bit I want to figure out, but other than that, I'm like excited to create a design for it. So yes, this is the Irish yarns. Life in the Long, they're both amazing. I definitely would look up both of these companies if you haven't already. And right now there also is starting in less than a week is an Irish Cal. So it's a knit along for Irish designers, dyers, yarn makers, all those kinds of things that's going on. So if I can find out the right link, I'll pop it down below. And I would join with this if I didn't have other things going right now that I have to fit in my time. But if you want to get yourself some Irish yarn or try design by an Irish designer and join in, that is happening quite soon. So yeah, and just in time for Paddy's Day. That's what they're doing. They're doing it for Paddy's Day. So yes, amazing. So excited for this. So excited for this. Last but not least, I want to just speak briefly about something I picked up almost on a whim. Not on a whim, but I have been thinking about it for a while. And I just went for it recently, and I got myself a loom. I'm going to speak about it from a knitter's point of view, and part of the reason I got the loom is because I was really having a bit of anxiety about my stash and how large it was. And I live in a studio flat, there's not a lot of space, and my knits and yarn are really like taking over. So I wanted to like use them up a lot. I went through my stash recently and pulled out a bunch of kind of leftover skeins, and my intention is to make a blanket with those, so I'll speak about that once it kind of gets going. But for everything else, I have like an entire plastic bin of like leftovers. So it's kind of those things when you make a sweater and you have almost a full skein left, or you know those kind of bits that are big, like not like scraps that you could throw, like that you would, the last bit that you'd throw away, but it's actually like decent chunks of yarn that I don't want to throw away. And so I wanted to think of a way of using them up quickly, and one way I thought about it was weaving and those kind of things. So I've heard it's quite quick and quite fast, and so I just went for it and got it. So I'll hold I'm gonna hold this up Da-da-da. It's in here. This is my loom is in here. And so this is, I will pop some pictures up on the screen. So the loom I got was the Ashford Knitter's loom. I believe it's called that because it's meant to be like a good, like gateway to knitting, especially, or gateway to weaving by knitters. And so that's why I got this one. It folds up, so you can fold it up and put it in that bag and store it under, for me it's under the couch. And that's another reason I got it, because it meant that I can fold it away and put it away in my tiny, tiny flat, which I share with my boyfriend. And so, yeah, this one is 50 centimeters, 20 inches wide. So that's the like widest width I can do on the loom. And so far I've done 2 projects. I will show you them now, and I'm absolutely in love with it and absolutely in love with doing it. So this is the very first thing I made. So you can see how uneven it is in spots. But I got better. Here we go. So this one is literally, I did the warp, which is the long one. I did that in 3 colors. So I did it in the green on the edge, the black in the middle, and then gray on the other edge. And so, like, you can see here how it looks. And yeah, I just grabbed three skeins that were like leftovers. I think they were more or less a full skein. I only know what the neon is. This is Garthenor beacons. The other 2, I have no idea what they are. No clue. Couldn't tell you. But that was the point of getting it, because the point was to use up my scraps, use up these yarns. And so what I did is I wove till I couldn't weave no more, and what I did was the beginning of it, when I was just first getting my rhythm of weaving, was like all over the place, and the edge was like really uneven and stuff like that. So all I did was essentially I chopped off that uneven part, and then using my sewing machine sewed the 2 ends together, and then made it like into a cowl. And like it's like technically it is a French seam. I might end up tacking it down a bit more, but it's kind of ended up being this like little light cowl, and I love it. It's so nice for this time of year when it's like kind of cold, but also spring is threatening to arrive. So I've just done it as like a funky cowl. So yeah, I've been really enjoying this piece, and it was so quick. I gotta say, my first time warping it up was a bit of a disaster, but then I've gotten the hang of it since then, learned some lessons, and but if I hadn't messed up that first time, I could have warped and finished the entire scarf in one day, like on a Sunday. So that was really cool, and I'm pretty happy with how fast that went. And then this is almost 3 skeins of yarn used in a day. So this is why I got it, and I'm really kind of enthused by the idea that I can kind of blast through this yarn. And we had brunch with a friend yesterday, and he was like, I was wearing this, and he was like, oh, I love this, I love your scarf. And I was literally like, do you want it? You can have it. It only took me a day. Take it. He refused, but he will be getting one for his birthday. So everyone's getting scarves, everyone's getting cowls, and everyone's going to get something woven. It's a really fun, I think, it's got a nice rhythm to it. So, you know, the aspect of knitting I love is that rhythm. And so it's a different like muscle, but it's also like complementary to knitting, is how I would say. So I've really enjoyed the actual action of weaving, and yeah, it's really been fun. I've really been enjoying it. So then my second project that I made is this. Again, it's just simple plain weave. This one I did wider, and it's still got I've got the ends here which I just tied off, and so this one I know what this is made out of. So the There you go, we'll get up close. Yeah, just simple. So the blue is yarn that I got in Mexico, which is cotton. If you've watched the pod, you know my boyfriend is Mexican. My boyfriend is Mexican, and when we went to Mexico last year, we were in San Miguel and we found a very small yarn shop, and I think they mostly use cotton there just because it's so warm all the time. And so I picked up 3 skeins of the like denim blue, and I've used up a full skein and a bit of the blue, and then the grey is actually knitting for Olive cotton merino. So there's a little bit of merino in this piece, but generally it is cotton, and I washed it on like a 30-degree wool cycle once it was finished, and it's turned out great. And we're going to use it as like a hand towel because it's like a cotton, feels really absorbent and nice. And so this we'll use as a towel, which is kind of what people tend to make on looms as well. So yeah, and then the next thing I'm going to make is using up the 2 other skeins that I have left, 2 and a bit other skeins. So I'll make it probably the same width but a bit shorter, and then just make another kind of plain towel just to have in the kitchen or in the bathroom. Haven't decided yet. But that's the loom. That's the weaving that I've done now. Let me know if you're like interested in more loom and weave content. I can always just put it at the end of an episode, similar to what I'm doing here, so that if you're not that interested, you can jump off. But I've really been enjoying it, and so if you're kind of on the fence or if you're interested in it, I'd highly recommend it. I just got the loom and have been using YouTube, but I think you could definitely find like weaving classes and stuff like that, or you know, like where I learned to sew here in London, their studio also has floor looms. So it's a super fun craft. So if you are a knitter and you've got some interest in it, it's a great way to use up yarn and a great way to kind of flex a different muscle that's not knitting and do like use your dexterity in a different way. I think is really important as knitters, that we kind of think about that. So yeah, that's my little loom. So yeah, I know it's a bit out of left field, out of nowhere. It was for me too, but I'm really excited about it. I'm excited about what I'm making, and I'm excited about using up my lovely yarn stash, because my yarn deserves to be made, to be used, and to live a happy, wonderful life. So yeah, that's my loom. Let me know what you think about it. So thank you for making it this far. That's all of the content. I know it's been a lot coming from almost 2 months of not being here. So I hope you've stuck around for this long. Thank you so much for watching. Drop a comment down below on this one. I want to know what your latest acquisition was, since I think this was an episode of acquisitions. Let me know what you think of the loom. And I also want to let you know that if you made it this far, my plan moving forward is, so we're very close to 9,000 subscribers on YouTube right now, and I have an idea for a design, a hat pattern. And so what I would like to do is to work on that little hat pattern for you guys, and my intention is when we hit 9k is to open up a test knit for the little hat pattern, and then when we hit 10k, release the pattern for free for subscribers. How that will work and the mechanics of that, I will have some ideas and figure that out closer to the time. But if you are a long-time subscriber, or if you're not subscribed and you would like a free hat pattern, that's what we're working towards. Definitely hit that subscribe button so you can see what's coming up next. And yeah, my intention is to try and like release some designs coming forward. So I've gotten a lot of support from friends, and so I'd like to pursue it. And of course, I'd love for this wonderful community to come along for that ride as well, wherever it takes me. And mainly, I would love to give back to this community that has been so kind and welcoming to me. And I think I don't do giveaways. I will never do giveaways. I don't really like giveaways, but I think if I have your support to test knit a pattern and then give that pattern to you, that's something that I can give to everyone, and it's not something that just one person wins from a giveaway. So that's my plan. It's a YouTube subscriber only thing, so it'll only be like something I talk about here. So if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe, and if you're interested in it, if you think that would be fun, I think it would be fun, let me know. And I hope you're well, I hope you're safe, I hope you're happy, I hope you're enjoying your knitting and your yarn, and I will be back very soon with lots more updates on crafty fun yarn times. Thank you so much. See you next time.